Instead of his plan to propose, he broke up with me and went off the rails. We'd been together 3 years, not the kind of relationship where you're counting days waiting for a ring, the kind where you've already started talking about what city you want to raise kids in, whose furniture you're keeping when you eventually merge apartments, whether you want a big wedding or just a courthouse and dinner somewhere nice after. We were solid, or at least I thought we were. Last month, he told me to cancel our anniversary trip to Cabo. Just like that. No lead up, no explanation, no, hey, can we talk? He came home one evening, I was making dinner, and he just walked in and said we needed to cancel it. Flights, hotel, the whole thing. Some of it was non-refundable. We'd been planning this trip for 4 months. I had already bought a new swimsuit and 2 new books for the beach. I had told my boss weeks in advance, cleared my whole calendar, moved a client deadline. I was mentally already on that beach. I told him absolutely not. I wasn't canceling anything without a real reason. He said he just didn't feel like going anymore. I asked if something was wrong with us. He said no. I asked if something was wrong with him, with work, with his family, anything. He kept deflecting. Short answers, wouldn't look at me, just kept saying it wasn't a big deal, and I was overreacting. I didn't sleep that night. I laid there trying to figure out what I was missing, because people don't just decide 5 days out that a trip they've been excited about for months is suddenly not happening. Something was wrong, and he wasn't telling me what it was. My brain went to the worst place. I started thinking about whether he'd been distant lately, whether there had been signs I'd brushed off, whether I don't want to go to Cabo was actually I don't want to go to Cabo with you. The next day we fought again, a real fight this time. I told him I deserved an actual explanation, and that canceling a trip like this without one wasn't something I was willing to just accept. He got defensive, then cold, then he said something I wasn't expecting. He said we weren't working anymore. I went completely still. I made him repeat it because I genuinely wasn't sure I'd heard him right. He said it again. I asked him how long he'd felt that way. He didn't have a clear answer. I asked if there was someone else. He said no. I asked him what not working even meant, because from where I was standing everything was fine before this trip conversation started. He couldn't explain it. He just kept saying he needed space and that canceling the trip was the right call. I told him if that's how he felt, I would start looking for apartments. He didn't say anything, so I took that as my answer. I spent the next day numb. Texted my best friend, tried in the bathroom during a work call, started half-heartedly looking at 1 bedrooms in my price range. I was devastated, but I was also completely confused, which almost made it worse, because I couldn't grieve something I didn't understand. There was no reason, no incident, no conversation that had gone too far. He just unraveled and I had no idea why. Then his sister texted me. She said she wasn't supposed to reach out, but she felt too guilty staying quiet. She told me he had been planning to propose to me in Cabo. He'd found the ring I wanted. I'd shown it to him over a year ago. One of those casual, if you ever need reference moments that I didn't think much of after. Platinum band, oval lab diamond, exactly what I would have picked myself. He'd been sitting on that for months, had the whole trip framed around this one moment on the last night, sunset dinner on the beach, the whole thing. The problem was the ring. He'd waited too long to actually order it. He finally contacted the jeweler about 2 weeks before our trip and found out the lead time was anywhere from 3 to 7 weeks. It said so right on the product page. He just hadn't checked. So instead of telling me what was happening, instead of maybe proposing without the ring and explaining it was on the way, instead of any reasonable adult solution, he panicked. He decided to cancel the trip entirely to buy himself more time without telling me why, and when I pushed back and demanded a reason, he didn't have a cover story ready, so he picked a fight. And when the fight escalated, he grabbed onto it and used it as an exit ramp. He told his entire office he was proposing. His sister, his mom, apparently even a friend of mine who had been sitting on this secret for 2 months. Everyone knew except me. And now all those people knew it fell apart. Not because of anything real, but because he couldn't just say the ring was running late. He didn't come home the night he ended things. Sent me a 2-sentence text the next afternoon confirming the breakup, formal and flat, like he was declining a meeting invite. His sister told me he'd spent the day drinking with coworkers, came in that morning and told them it was off, and apparently took it about as well as you'd expect from someone who did this entirely to himself. I don't know if I'm more heartbroken or just stunned. I had a proposal coming, I had Cabo, I had a partner I thought I understood, and I lost all 3 of it in the span of 1 week because he panicked about a shipping delay and didn't trust me enough to just tell me the truth. The ring is probably almost ready by now.